Hello, hello, hello. All right, I'm pretty sure we're in the right place. Pretty sure. Let's see. Wait a second. I have a knot in my shoulder that is killing me, so I'm not just being weird out here. I am trying. Plug. Let's see. Someone say something. Let me see if I can see comments or if I need to bring those up. Oh, there's some hearts. Oh, it's Tessa. Hi, Tessa. All right. I can at least see people are watching. Dun, dun, dun. I'm trying to... Yay, Tessa commented. It's so nice to see you, friend. I said I would be on 4-ish. It's not even 4:30. I gave a 4-ish on purpose. Hi, Tanya. All right. Trying to, just to make sure. We'll see if this is going to be really slow or not. We're going to find out. Should have brought this up before I went live, but here we are. You're along on this journey. And I've got all the notes. I got like 3 pages, 2.5 pages of notes, which is a lot for me. So, but maybe I'll be a little less squirrely today because I have notes. We'll find out. I was saying before people got on, I woke up with a ridiculous knot in my shoulder blade that does not seem to want to go away. And so if I wiggle my shoulder weird, that's why it's not, I mean, I am weird, but it's not me being weird. It's my shoulder being weird. Because it just catches sometimes, and I'm like, ah. I will try not to scream out in pain. All right. So, I'll preface this with a couple things. I'm going to try not to scroll that much. I did make notes on purpose so that I would make sure I covered what I wanted. My computer's over here, so I'm watching that because I just want to make sure that I have the chat up, because sometimes not all the chats want to show, and so I want to make sure, let's make sure this is dead, that I have the chats up and that I see all of them. Okay. Nope. I was right before. Okay. Yes. Alrighty. There we go. I'll put them over here. That way I can see things scrolling. Yes. All right. So I'm going to try not to be too squirrely. That was my squirreliness right there. And I'm going to try to watch my mouth. I have a dirty mouth sometimes. That was my butt, but I had to turn that light on. It just wasn't right. So, I have a dirty mouth sometimes. So if I drop a few words, I apologize in advance. Earmuff your kids or something. I don't know. They're hearing it other places, but it is what it is. I get very excited. So I'm going to try to talk at a pace that, isn't me talking really, really fast. But no promises there, because when I get excited, I talk faster. All right. So staying steady through the seasons. The one thing I will say is that pretty much every time I do a training, nobody comes and gets out of it what they thought they were going to get out of it, because my interpretation of things is always very different. And that's okay, because hopefully somebody gets something out of it. That's what's important. And somebody will, I'm sure. And I'm going to start off with some background information about me, because it is actually, I don't normally like to talk about myself, but it is pertinent to my authority on this topic to understand the background of me in my Scentsy business. So my little self, my name is Dawn. I already said that. My name is Dawn. I started in March 2012. So 10 and a half years ago, I jumped into this whole Scentsy thing after the very anxious 8 that I am, researching everything, knowing I already loved the product, might as well get a discount back. Joined in March 2012. Now, years later, I understand that March 2012 was like the slowest Scentsy's business has ever been. It was a very big valley. Did I know that when I joined? No, I wasn't asking about peaks and valleys in business when I joined. I just want to make sure the company was good and I liked the product. And that's really like, and that they were going to like take care of us as consultants, which 10 and a half years in, I can tell you all of that is great. So I jumped in with both feet. Didn't know I was in a valley. And I'll talk about peaks and valleys in businesses during this, because that's kind of a big part of this. Without knowing, and I say peaks and valleys because businesses do it naturally, by the way. There's a lot of leaders that have been talking about the dip. F that. Like, excuses. And I'll talk about how I feel about excuses. But every business has peaks and valleys. And if you run your business the right way, a peak or a valley isn't going to affect anything by any major craziness, and you're going to feel fine. So, joined in end of March 2012. It was like the biggest valley that Scentsy's business has ever been in. I had no idea. I just came in freaking thrilled that I liked a product. I literally didn't intend to build a team, do anything, which you hear all the time, but I like literally didn't even know what any of that meant. Like, that didn't mean anything to me. I just knew I really liked a product. So I came in and I shared the crap out of that product that I love. And I didn't even intend to like do anything more than like make $50 a month or whatever and like get money back on my own sales, right? Like, I didn't have any intention. I had no why. I didn't come in with a plan, like nothing. And so just because I went out and shared what I loved, just like we do every day, we share our purchases from Target, our coffee, our favorite meal, our whatever, right? We share stuff all the time. We're sharing stuff all the time. The internet is full of us sharing things that we love. And that's literally all I did, was share the things that I loved. I didn't have, the workstation was nothing. It was bare bones. Our catalog was like 35 pages long, not 70. Like all we had was wax and warmers, basically. We had like scent circles and travel tins and like little things. But we didn't have all these different categories. I was still hitting goals. I still hit sensational start. I still hit shooting star. I had people join my team, not because I was asking anybody, because I wasn't. Because like I said, I didn't even know what that meant. But I had other people who were like, I want to sell too. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I didn't know what leading was. I didn't know any of it. But because I was excited about what I was doing, I had people join on. So by August of 2012, I had promoted to star. Didn't know what any of that meant. Didn't know what any of that meant. It's fine. I was just excited. But I will say that after that happened, that there were people around me in the Scentsy community who I had connected myself with, who were doing better than me. And I say that like with air quotes, because what does better than me mean? In this industry, no one's better than anybody else. We're all on very different journeys, paths, intentions, different points in our business, in our lives. And so there is literally no scale. There's literally no scale for who's better than who, because that's not a thing. There's people who are on different parts of their journey than you, but there's literally no scale for someone being better than someone. Like, that's literally not a thing. If I asked all 210,000 consultants today what their goals were with Scentsy, why they do this business, what, like, every single, it would be 210,000 different answers, right? Like, so the comparison game is like the silliest thing ever. And I know we're all guilty of it. I let it get the best of me. And I let it get the best of me and stop my motion and my sharing the way I had been that created the tidal wave in the beginning anyways. I let it stop me for 5 years. For 5 years. For 5 years, I was on and off the will cancel list. I wasn't really sharing. I didn't have any systems or plans for what I wanted. I considered quitting several times. I still went to events because I loved the community aspect. So I still went to every SFR, every world tour, but I would go and I would like get pumped up and I'd say that I wanted director or this title or this PRV or whatever. I'd say that I'd want those things, but I would come home and I'd make 0 moves towards that. In 2016, SFR, Mel Robbins spoke. And if you've watched me in any other trainings before, I often refer to Mel Robbins like she completely changed my life. She talked about the 5-second rule, and I was just really, really impacted by the way that she presented to us about all of that. I'm not going to go into her stuff. You can look up Mel Robbins. She's a genius. Have fun with that after this, of course. But Mel Robbins like completely caused me to change my whole, it was like one of the times where I actually took something from what I learned and I came home and I applied it to so many things in my life. I came home and I apologized to the tiny team that I had, who I really had kind of ignored as a leader. Like, I was not a leader at that time. I apologized to my customer base for just being not really great because I just was not present in my business in the way that someone is when they're really wanting out of it what most people want. So I apologized to my team. I apologized to my customers. I told them I was going to be showing up more. I told them what my intentions were. I started being consistent, figuring out systems that work for me. And things slowly started to turn around. And then I have a question before I tell you the next part of my story. What do you guys think of when you think of systems? What does a system mean to you? Because I hear all the time that I don't have systems. All these people have systems and I don't have systems. I'm a mess. I'm unorganized. I don't have any systems. What is a system to you? What does that look like? If you were going to put into words what a system is, what would a system be to you? Megan says something you do consistently. I like that. Danielle says organization. Something that keeps me on track to keep moving forward. An organized way of automating a task. Oh, that one sounds fancy. Okay. Using apps, scheduling pieces of my business. Good ones. Organized step by step. Even if it's a hot mess. Yes, even if it's a hot mess. Hi, Megan. I love you, by the way. Whatever works for each person. It's all different. Ding, ding, ding. A system to me is a plan to help me get things done. Something that makes pieces of my business easier to manage. Look at all these good answers. Okay. So I just want to say that, I feel like there's this mythical system floating in the air. And people are always like, you need a system. You need a system. You do need a system. Your system is, you probably already have systems. And then you're thinking that you don't. Like, so many people are like, I don't have systems in place. You're doing something that's keeping your business running. What are those things? Those are your systems. They do not have to look like everybody else's. If it works for you, like someone said, if it works for you, it's a system for you. And so I need you to stop like looking at other people's businesses, peeking over the gate, Wilson style, if you know the reference. I need you to stop peeking over the fence, Wilson style, at someone else's business, which is not your business, which is not your personality, which is not the way you work, and comparing yourself to that and your systems to that. If you have things that are keeping your business running, that are working for you, that's a system. Okay? It is great that other people have other things. And you can definitely take other people's things and make them your own and make them work for you. But don't be afraid of the big F word, the fail word. Don't be afraid of something failing on you. If it fails on you, that just means it doesn't work for you. Readjust it, try again, or give it up and move on to the next thing. It's okay, right? It's okay. Because your business is you. It's yours. And nobody else's business looks like yours, and your business doesn't look like anybody else's. If we were all the same, we wouldn't be able to have everybody be consultants, right? If we were all the same and ran the same, like there would be literally no reason for people to pick a consultant, pick who they go to, like for us to grow. Like none of that could exist because there could be one person, because otherwise there would be 250,000 people doing exactly the same thing, saying the same thing, whatever. People love Scentsy, but they pick you. So what you do is unique to you in all parts of your business. So if you have things that work in your business, I'm not saying there might not be systems that you need to figure out for your business, but I guarantee you already have things that are in place for your business that are systems. So I just want to reassure you of this. You need to realize that you have systems in place. Oh, yes. Who just said that? Karen. It seems like the only time I'm really working my business when I'm in jeopardy. They show up more on here. So, yes, the panic thing. I will tell you too, the people who, and read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. This will change your life. Because there are people who are like, oh, I always work better. This is a total sidetrack, but that's my brain. It's fine. I work better if I wait till the last minute to do things. I work better in procrastination mode. I work better when I'm like pushed to the edge and I'm like, nah, bro. I thought that too for a really long time. And it is not true. It's not true. And this will be my one Mel Robbins thing, because it still blows my mind every time I reread or re-listen to 5-second rule. And she says it. She has a whole chapter on procrastination. Okay. And if this is all you take away, this is all you take away, but I'm like obsessed with it and I'll keep going. We don't procrastinate because we're lazy or we're bad with time, or we do better when we wait till the last minute, or whatever other thing we want to tell ourselves. The reason people procrastinate is because your brain is overwhelmed with something or some things. It might be a messy house. It might be a messy office. It might be the fact that you don't have any systems in place, or a to-do list that you regularly do for your business or whatever. But because your brain is chaos, it will do anything it can think of to avoid doing what it knows it needs to do, because it's just trying to relax. It's so overwhelmed by all the other things around you. Like if I have a messy office, or like certain things in my house are a mess, I literally like want to shut down, right? And procrastination is literally your body like shutting down from the things it knows it needs to do, because it's so overwhelmed with the little things. Blew my mind. And so people who follow me on social media know this is like, it's like really dumb, but like every morning in my stories, I post about me making my bed. That was the first thing I started with, was getting out of bed and making my bed every day. Do I need to make my bed? No, I'm just going to get in it every night and make it messy. I know, I've heard the stories. People make fun of me for it, and it's been happening now for 3 years that I've been posting every day how I make my bed. I make my bed on freaking vacation now because it starts my day off where I accomplished something. It puts my mindset in a place where I accomplished something already 5 seconds after getting out of bed. Okay? So, if that's your mind blown moment, that's it. I'm going back to my story. So 2016, Mel Robbins, see, 5-second rule, just changed my life. Because it changed the way I viewed everything. And not just Scentsy wise, just life wise. It just changed the way I viewed and approached all the things. And then, so I started slowly switching things around. The next year at SFR, 2017, I don't even remember all the speakers. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't remember all the speakers. I just remember that every room I walked into, every session I sat in, every training I did, it was like being in a space where I was being the only person in the room spoken to. Like, it was like I was supposed to be there in that moment. I think I cried at everything that happened, which Scentsy turned me into an emotional person anyways, but I literally was like, everything was like, Dawn, knock, knock, knock. This is for you. Get your ass in gear, woman. And so it was a crazy, crazy SFR. I was a mess. But it was the SFR that I say like really made me come back ready to change my business. 2016 made me ready to change my life and change the way I was approaching things. 2017 made me come back and want to tackle my business. It made me realize that Scentsy was where I belonged. It made me realize that I had a tiny little team who were really great, and I had a customer base that was really great, and I had started putting systems in place, and I was ready to come back and actually do the work. Not just say that I was ready to do the work or that I wanted this or wanted that, but I was going to come back and actually do it. And so that was SFR 2017. And I'll tell you, I went into that SFR. I was like last whim ready to give up on Scentsy. I was barely active that month. I had sat at Superstar Consultant for like 3 years. And we like hit right below or right above star consultant numbers. Like, it was not pretty. And then I came back after SFR at the end of July. In August, we almost hit director numbers. And we literally almost hit director numbers for a year. But a year later, with the continued consistency and me having my shit together and knowing what my intentions were, within a year, we had gone from barely doing star consultant numbers to hitting director in fall 2018. So I say all this because clearly my business has had many peaks and valleys, many feelings, many emotions, many excuses. And I've been in all of them. And I worked with through all of that, on top of making sure my Scentsy business was in place, I was also working a couple actual out of the house full-time jobs to pay the bills. So I would come home, or during my like lunch breaks and pee breaks. Don't lie to me. I know you go to the bathroom and work your Scentsy. I did it. We all do it. It's fine. Whatever little moments I had during the day, I was working my business in 5 to 15 minute increments. I'd come home and work in the evening. It was a sacrifice I knew I was going to make and willing to make in order to make the business happen for me, because it was a short-term thing for a long-term goal, right? And so 10 and a half years, it's taken me through a lot. And I moved across, did cross country moves 3 times during that. So I've moved all over the place. My customer base is all over the place. I had my house broken into, and my car stolen at one point. Many jobs, job changes, career changes, all of it. And so I say all this to say that your excuses will be your excuses until you stop letting them be your excuses. You have to stop letting the excuses be in charge. Decide what's going to be bigger, your excuses or your goals and your dreams. And I know the goals and dreams part is way scarier. It's a way scarier road to go down than the excuses one, but you have to be ready. So another activity. Are you ready? I'm including activities. All right. I want you to think about leadership, since this is all about leadership in this group this month. So leadership. What are some qualities that you think of when you think of a great leader? When you think of a great leader, what are some qualities that you think of? I'm going to wait until some things pop up. Megan Clark said, I find I'm most productive in the bathroom. There's something about the no distractions and the white noise from the vent. That is calming. And I love it. Okay. We are celebrating everyone's success, no matter how big or small. Someone who checks in on you, guide, mentor, shout outs and recognition. Okay, now I'm back. I'm caught up. Things that make a great leader. Giving more than you take. Wow, my computer's way ahead of my phone. Consistently doing what they ask others to do. Ooh, that's a good one. Someone who shares and helps you, not competes with you. Someone who doesn't see themselves higher than you. Leads from the front, I'm going to guess, Megan says. Connection and building relationships. Someone who shows the way. Leads from the front. Yeah, see, I knew what you meant, Megan. Open-minded and willing to think outside the box. Pivot. Consistent. Lead by example. These are all good ones, guys. Okay, so then while you're thinking of all these great qualities, and we could sit here and name great leader qualities all day long. When you think of a great leader, how many knowledgeable and innovative? Ooh, innovative. I like that. Reliable. How many people pop into your mind? Like when you're thinking of a great leader, I know my brain, before I even think of like an item, my brain thinks of specific people. So how many people popped into your mind first? Because I know that's what happens. How many great leaders popped into your mind that then made you come up with these things that make a great leader? 3, 4, 10, 7, 20. How many leaders popped into your mind? How many great leaders did you think of when I asked you about great leaders that made you think of that? 5, 2. Ashley only has 1. She only knows 1. Megan says 5. 6. 5. 2. Okay. We're gonna eliminate the 1 because that's pretty rare. And probably once you got going, you thought of other people. 3. So here's the thing. 7. So here's the thing. We look around and we see all these leaders and we're like, wow, they are great. They are great. They are awesome. They are doing things that I will never be able to do, right? We start like listing all those things that make them great. And then we freak out. And then we're taking the qualities that we see in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different leaders and trying to put them all into one person. Newsflash, you are not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. You're not. And you have zero ability to be multiple people. And so it is great to have people around you who you admire what they're doing. You admire how they lead. They inspire you to be a better person and to lead better. But you cannot be all of them in one. It is literally impossible for you to be more than one person. Okay? And so I'm telling you, if you're showing up and leading and being what you think a great leader is, it is enough. It is enough. And I need you to hear that, because you cannot be multiple people. It is literally impossible. You will burn the candle at both ends and not want to be here anymore. I've been there, done that. Wouldn't recommend it. Okay. And so while you're thinking about all those great leader things, I want you to think about some other things. All businesses, and I've already said this, all businesses, not just network marketing, all businesses have peaks and valleys. It is literally not a thing that a business is like just coasting along, doing great, just mediocre along the road. We're just in one straight line. Like, that does not happen in business. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. All businesses have peaks and valleys, whether it's seasonal, whether it's trends, whether it's pandemics. Hopefully we never do that one again. But all businesses have peaks and valleys to them. Okay. And so I want you guys to understand that, like, your business having peaks and valleys is normal. It is normal. If one of your systems doesn't involve recording your numbers every month, I want you to figure out a system for that, because it is so much easier to go back and, instead of comparing to other people or what the overall business is doing, to compare your business to your business year over year is so much more mentally less taxing. And you'll see how the business goes up and down. But it's not going as up and down as you think it is if you're showing up regularly, okay? No matter what the economy is doing, no matter what the universe is throwing at us, no matter what Scentsy is doing as a company, if you keep your flow consistent, if you put your systems into place that work for you, your business will do like this instead of like this. Does that make sense? Like, you'll still have peaks and valleys, but they'll be way smaller instead of the like up and down, like big scary 90-degree drops that make you want to give up. Okay. Because if you're doing this, you get up here and you're like candle burning at both ends, stressed out, freaked out because it's so much. And then you dip way down here and then you're candle burning at both ends because you're trying to figure out how to get back up here. And you're just like seesawing back and forth, like just wanting to vomit because you are on massive hills, right? Gentle rolling hills, way more easy to deal with, right? So do the things that work for you that make your business, no matter what's happening, work consistently. And I'm not going to give you that because, like I said already, it's different for everybody. The last time I spoke on here, I did one about what my digital systems are. There's a lot of other things like that in this group. So you can go and you can learn systems and try them out for you. When you do a system, give it 3 months, not 2, give it 3 months to see if it works for you fully, because that's how long it takes for consistency to kick in. But here's your focuses. You're focusing on recruiting all the time, growing your customer base all the time, having parties of some type. I don't care if you call it a party. I don't care what you call it, but you need to have people hosting something, because that's part of growing your customer base. I don't care how you party or what you call it, but you know what a party means. Okay. So like, you need to still be having parties of some type, because that's how new people come into your business. It's a big referral program. PRV, focus on PRV. Obviously, you want to keep that at a certain point or growing. Doing follow-ups. Your business will die if you're not doing follow-ups. Leading your team, showing up for them, being there for them, and having the systems in place that work for you. If you focus on those things consistently, all the time, no matter what the business model is doing, your business will be fine season to season, peak to valley, no matter what's going on. It's really not that hard, but we really get overwhelmed by all the excess around us, all the bullshit, all the bonus things, all the people who focus on the fluff and why, and you just don't need it. I'll tell you from someone who hates the fluff, who hates the excess, who hates all the stock and I don't have any of that. The fluffiest thing I do is nice graphics because that makes me happy and I'm good at it because that's my degree. That's the fluffiest thing I do in my business. But I didn't start doing that until like the past year or two when I was backing away from my outside of the home full-time job. Before that, you were lucky if it wasn't just black ink on a white label that said what the product was, if I was giving you a sample, right? Like it just, customers don't care about that. They just want you to show up and be there. Your team doesn't care about the fluff. They just want you to show up and be there. I'm going to be really honest. So this is your permission to eliminate the fluff. The fluff is stressing you out. Recruit, grow your customer base, have parties, grow your PRV, do your follow-ups, lead your team, have some systems in place. We're not doing rocket science here. We're not doing brain surgery. Don't overwhelm yourself. I'm also going to say, never let yourself be comfortable. Your team's going to evolve. People are going to fall off. People are going to come on. Most people aren't career people. Stop stressing out about the 0 PRVs and the people who are hobbies and the people who come and go. It is not a symbol of your business. It is not a symbol of your leadership. It is simply the model that network marketing is. People come in for whatever reason they come in for. Most of them are not here at the level you are and never will be, and that's okay. Meet them where they are. Don't put expectations on them. Don't. And don't beat yourself up when they don't do what they don't do, because that's on them, not on you. We're not bosses. We're not managers. We're independent consultants. Okay. But your business will feel different in peaks and valleys if you don't, and you won't have the extremes if you don't treat it with extremes. So there are so many people, like I said, who treat this business with extremes or have the excuses or whatever. If you don't slow down on peaks, and you won't burn out on valleys. Okay. Consistency. And consistency is such a word that is like overused and overused, but I'm saying that if you always work your business with the same level, there's zero burnout on either end because you're always the same. You be the consistency. The business can peak and valley all it wants. You be the consistency. Does that make sense? And complacency is an enemy. Complacency is an enemy. Are you willing to evolve, learn from your mistakes, allow the failures, and do the hard shit? Never be complacent. This business is ever evolving. If we went back and talked to people who started Scentsy as consultants and who are still here now, like, man, the things that they had to do then, I mean, the initial consultants were literally packaging their own wax and pouring their own wax. Heidi was taking photos of the warmers in her backyard to make a catalog. Like, it's just not the same business. And the 10.5 years that I've been here, everything's changed. Our catalog is doubled in size. We have so many product options. We have licensing deals that I would have never in a million years told you were going to happen. We have amazing, amazing things for literally any person, smells for any person. We have a workstation with more marketing and training materials than a person would need in their lifetime. Everything's at your fingertips. We have people like Nicole who have groups like this with amazing trainings in them. Like, if you are not where you want to be and you're letting that hold you back, that's on you. All the tools, I don't care who your sponsor is. I don't care who your leader is. I don't care who your team is. Like, if they're not the right team yet, recruit more people. If your sponsor isn't present, who fucking cares? If your SSD isn't present, doesn't matter. It literally, like, all of this just doesn't matter. It is your business. You're an independent consultant. What your business shows up as, the consistency of it, the systems of it, the building of it is up to you. No one is going to come in on a white horse and save you and do the work for you. This is where I get like straight Dawn. But like, it is just a fact. I spent those 5 years that I told you about almost falling off with a million excuses, saying I was going to do the things, but then having a million excuses, and the excuses I let be stronger. And it wasn't until I told myself, damn it, Dawn, like, these excuses are bullshit. They are bullshit. They're holding you back. You are as good as all of these other people. You can be better than a lot of these people. You can show up in the same way they are. There is no reason XYZ person with XYZ business can't be you if you show up and do the work. But this is a job, right? Even if it's a hobby for somebody, I tell my hobby people, I said, even if this is your hobby, what happens if you stop doing a hobby? You become bad at it. It becomes inconsistent. You have to relearn it when you show up again. Shocker. If you don't show up to your business for a month, it struggles for you to get back into things. If you don't show up for your business for 2, 3, 4 months, shocker, it's a struggle to get back into things. It's a struggle because you haven't been consistent and you lived by the excuses and you let them win. Okay? I am going to shout out my friend Karen Fettis because she's a gem. And we read a book last month that, like, I swear I highlighted the whole book. It's called Time, Money, Freedom. I should remember the name of the authors. It's a couple, Ray and Jessica. I can't remember their last name. But when you look it up, just make sure it says it's by Ray and Jessica. Ray and Jessica, the book is Time, Money, Freedom. So good. I'm giving you all these things to look up. Time, Money, Freedom. And I grabbed a couple of quotes that I wanted to make sure I said. One of them applies to other people. Viewing other people, the comparison game. And not even the comparison game as much as the blame game. I feel like this is even more, not just within the company, but outside the company. How many times you get feedback from people who don't like network marketing. It didn't work for them, so it's not going to work for you. Okay. If you don't want the life someone has, stop listening to their advice. They're not paying your bills. You don't want their life. Stop listening to them. And a big one, it's not about upending your life, making dramatic changes, or taking huge risks. It's about taking small steps successfully to reach your goal. Stop trying to implement big things all at once. Small steps. Change one thing that you're annoyed with or frustrated with or don't have a system for. Change one thing. Let it run for 3 months. Make sure it works. Then add another thing. Small steps. It does not have to be big. And I think so many people came in the past 3 years and were so overwhelmed by the bigness of the peak we were on that, like, nothing got put into place. So you need to hear this. You need to start with small steps. The consistency will come. The tiny waves will go into place. Stop trying to bring back the peak of the past few years. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But you can bring in consistency. You can bring in a business that, like, rides a beautiful wave for you for years and years to come. Small steps at a time. And the risk isn't in trying something new and putting yourself out there. There's no risk in trying something new and putting yourself out there. The risk is in staying exactly where you are and never knowing what could have been. And that is what I mean by I had to realize that other people weren't to blame for the fact that my business wasn't going anywhere. I could not see past the hand in front of my face to see that there was so much more I was capable of, so much more I could accomplish, so much more I was going to be able to do in life if I just got out there and took some risk and stopped being so freaking comfortable and stopped leaning on my excuses, right? So, do you want to be in the same place? Or is it worth it to try some new things and get some change and some stuff that works for you, right? And then the ultimate risk is to live your entire life doing what you don't want to do. And there's a lot of Scentsy people who have things that they don't want to do. They don't want to work their 9 to 5 anymore. They don't want to leave their kids as much. They don't want to do XYZ. They don't want to live in debt. They don't want to have to stop going on vacations or having big Christmases or whatever. There's a reason you are in this business, and the possibilities are endless. They're literally endless. But you have to be willing to take the risk, be willing to fail, be willing to show up all the time. And I'm not saying don't take a vacation and don't take a day off. Like, treat it like a job that it is. This is my full-time job. I literally work 9 to 5 at this job. I show up, I get up in the morning, I make my bed, I do my workout, I shower, and I come and I sit in my office and I work from 9 to 5. Like, I treat it like a job because it is for me. It's literally paying my bills, right? So what you put into it, you're going to get out of it. I know that's like a really cliche saying too. And I'm not saying this is going to be the last few things. Consistency does not mean burn the candle at both ends. It means show up like the job it is so that you don't burn out. If you're showing up consistently, working your systems consistently, your business is going to be consistent. There are weeks where that 9 to 5, I sit here and I get to do fluffy things because I caught up on all the things that like need to get done. There are times where I sit here and that 40 hours in a week isn't enough because it's a specific time of month. It's the beginning of the month where I'm getting out all my thank yous from last month. I'm setting stuff up for my team. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? So like there's certain times of the month that are busier than others. Usually the last week of the month, I'm working 3 days because I front load everything. But that's how I'm scheduled. And I know my BFF Steffi is going to speak on time blocking later this week. So I'm going to say, create your time blocks each week. Know exactly. And I don't like being told what to do. I don't even like myself telling me what to do. But I'm going to tell you you do have to have some sort of schedule in place, even if it's loose. Have some sort of schedule, some sort of time blocking in place. Have systems that work for you. Again, it doesn't have to work for anybody else. It just has to work for you. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to look great. It just has to be something that keeps you on task for that specific task. Okay. Stop using your excuses as your stoppers. If you don't know why you're here, that's your first goal. The first thing to do is sit down and write out all the reasons you need that Scentsy paycheck and you need Scentsy. Money is like a big driver for me. Like I'm here because I need to pay my bills and Scentsy's the way I've chosen to do that. But like there are many reasons that the choice is Scentsy. And so like, why do I need Scentsy and why do I need my paycheck are two different things, but I have lists for both of them. I know exactly. So when a day's really hard, I can look at those lists and be like, that's right. Still got to show up. Hard day. Still got to show up. And I recently heard an amazing quote that it said, treat your day like a sporting event, like it has quarters, and don't let a bad quarter ruin a full day. Don't let a bad quarter ruin a full game. Isn't that great? So it's okay to have a bad moment. It's okay to have a bad day. But like, why? Like, put things in place. Stop letting the excuses be your stoppers. Figure out your why. And it could be multiple whys. I don't have just one. Create a circle that inspires you. If the people Look around at the people in your Scentsy world who are your people. Are they inspiring you? Are they headed the way you want to be headed? Are they working their business the way that you feel is inspiring and worthwhile and encouraging to you and motivating to you? Are they lifting you up on your bad days, helping you keep going? Are they cheering you on your good days and keeping you motivated? Like, look at your circle. If they are not doing those things, they're the wrong circle. If all they're doing is sitting in the shit with you and bitching about things and pulling you down, that's not your circle. It's not your circle. It's not Scentsy and it's not your circle. I thought I had a, oh yes. They're a cage, not a circle. That was from Time, Money, Freedom too. If they're not inspiring to you, if they're stopping you, they are a cage holding you back. They're not a circle. Do the hard shit. You can do hard shit. I promise you. And you've survived 100% of the hard shit you've done. So you can keep doing it. Don't be afraid to fail. Fail's how we grow. It's how we learn what works and doesn't work. Failure is great. Another one here. Just got all the things. Van Gogh, one painting sold during his life while he was living. Van Gogh didn't get famous until after he died, and his sister started spreading his information and his paintings around. Like, it just takes one. It just takes one. Don't be afraid to fail. Never get comfortable with your business. Because this business is the way it is, you can never be comfortable. Team's going to change. Customer base is going to change. People go, people come. It is what it is. Focus on your business 80% of the time. Focus on your leaders, the people showing up leading, the other 20% of the time. And that 20% of the time is focused on your top 20%. That bottom 80% are going to be the people who rotate. They're here for a hobby. They're here for a season. They're zeros all the time, and they literally are not affecting your business. I'm not saying don't talk to them. I'm not saying ignore them. I'm saying they are not where you delve your energy into, because they're never going to meet you at your energy. Meet them at theirs, which is checking in on them and saying hi. Like, meet them at their energy. Take the break, but don't stop. Take the week vacation, take the mental health day, take the breaks like you would normally, but you cannot, as a leader, you cannot take a month off. You cannot take multiple months off. Literally cannot do it. If you want your business to not look like this, you need to be consistent too. Treat this like the job it is and show up. And if you do those things, I know I threw a lot at you in like 45 minutes. I was trying to stay under an hour because I was like, I have so much I want to say. If you do these things and you focus on recruiting, growing your customer base, parties, PRV, follow-ups, lead, systems, leading your team and systems. If that's all you focus on, which I know sometimes sounds like a lot, but it's not. All of that stuff can be done very simply. If you focus on that and you have systems for those and you do those things consistently, no matter what the season Scentsy is in, or your business is in, or the world is in, you're going to be fine. Okay? That's all I got. That's all I got. If you watch this and you have questions, I'm not going to keeping on because I've already talked probably more than I should have. But if you have questions, if you have anything else you want to say, anything else you want to ask, drop them in the comments. I'm obviously going to get the stuff that you comment on this video going forward. So drop them in the comments. Let me know. I will address anything. I hope you guys have had a really good weekend. It's been beautiful here in Cincinnati. So hopefully it was amazing where you are. Florida people, I saw some people commenting from Florida. Florida is like my second home. I have been thinking about you guys so much. And I send so much love and positivity to you guys because it is not easy what you're going through and people do not know unless they've lived in Florida. So, you guys are strong and amazing. And thank you for letting me speak today. And have a great rest of your Sunday. And go kick some ass this week. We're in a new month. Way to go, team. Bye.